Hi, everybody. Happy Wednesday evening. Present tense, getting on here to talk to you guys about something that I've been having this like huge epiphany over the past, I want to say week and a half, and I want to share it with you. So I know we've talked about things we can do to cope through this. And today I want to just talk to you about a huge opportunity that I see we all have. And that opportunity stems from something that I have learned and taken the time to do in my life, and I'm being presented with the same opportunity again. I'm getting asked by people sometimes, how are you feeling, mental health wise, and are you okay? And I'm fine. I can tell you that right now. I am like probably 95% fine, beyond the general anxieties and worries and like, oh my gosh, like all the things going on. But mentally, I've got this down, and I want to explain to you why that is and how you can, what you can take from this. So briefly, the reason I'm fine, that I think that I'm doing okay, is because I am no stranger to having to take a lot of time away from people, social life, my social life, family, at a time in my life that I really was at a rock bottom after going through my divorce, okay, which kind of sparked this whole healing journey and all these other issues I realized were going on, like abuse and stuff that I had to heal from. So I spent a good amount of time on personal development, being present, being alone with myself, and really learning about what happened and how I was going to navigate this new I was going to get to a healed space. So that is why I'm doing okay. Is because for me, this is not my first rodeo of feeling like the universe is saying, slow down, you need to, there's some things to learn here, and you need to take some time on your own to learn them. Because that's how I'm looking at this. I want to share this with you. So we have this opportunity, you guys, to be present, okay? And I know that can be really hard when the present that you're in is not where you want to be, right? Cooped up in your house and whatnot, out of work or whatever. But if you will, if you can just try to be present, and I know you can do this, you're going to learn a lot. You are given a lot of time to learn a lot about the world and about yourself. So hear me out here. This is one of the times that I would actually suggest a bit of going with the flow. All right. As opposed to, here are my big goals and my big things I'm working towards. Goals are always great. But right now, I feel like the world is being told to shut up and listen. Okay. To go within. So I don't want to see us crossing off the days until Evers said, Evers says we can go back to school. Okay. Because why? First of all, you're not being present when you're doing that. Second of all, that may change, okay? Not to freak everybody out, but I don't see us going back to school until September, if even then, to be honest. Maybe you're worried about the economy, right? I think all of us are. Again, stop. Can you control that? Is that something you can control? And if you can, because you can in some ways, how can you control it? How can you control it? How can you make a difference with that? Okay, all these things. I want to remind you something. We're all going to fall asleep tonight, and we're going to wake up tomorrow, and we're going to be in the same world, the same boat as everybody else. This is global. I mean, think about that for a minute. That's incredible. We're all going to wake up with those same fears. We're all going to wake up with those same concerns. We're all going to wake up with the same, if we're experiencing this, loneliness. All of us are going to do this, okay? Are we really not going to thrive because of that? Because of this long shutdown we have? Are we really not going to be thriving once we're through this? Of course we're going to. We're going to thrive like crazy. And let me explain this to you. Here's what I've been thinking about, and it's just been blowing my mind in such a positive way. Think about what this forced downtime is teaching us. I even made a list of things that were before, or how life was before and how it is after, meaning right now. And I want to just give you a few ideas here that I wrote down. So let's think of before versus after. And I'm trying to relate to the world, not just me. So I'm thinking of, I'm going to give you examples of things that I may not have been before, but someone else might too. Okay, so I'm trying to think of people in general. So before, go, go, go. After, sit, sit, sit. Before, no time to think. After, lots of time to think. Maybe even too much time to think, we feel. Before, very me focused. Everything affects me, 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 me. After, global focus. It's huge. Before, were you worried about money before this happened? After, how are you looking at money now? Are you even more worried? Are you grateful for that fearful financial situation you thought you were in before is actually protecting you now? That you're better off than a million other people in the world? Think about it. Before, I can't live without what? After, watch me living without what? Fill in the blank. Before, I have no time for friends. I have to put my family first all the time. I have to put my job first all the time. I have no time for these friends. After, God, I wish I could see my friends. Right? Before, I'm going to put that off. I have all the time in the world. After, I wish I could do that now. Before, I'm neglecting my relationships, my family. After, I'm forced not to do that. Before, I'm taking teachers for granted. I'm taking people who stock the shelves at grocery stores for granted. I'm taking the pharmacy for granted. I'm taking my pet food supply store for granted. After, I really see how important these folks are. Before, I really don't feel like going to that movie today, but I told my friend I would. After, damn, I wish I could go to that movie with my friend. Think about it. Think about this. When this type of situation we're in is going to last for a long time, we start to get an idea of who and what we had been neglecting and taking for granted. I encourage you to make your own list of before and after, okay? How will you look at things once we're out of this? Okay, how will you live your life? Think of how much we've been neglecting and how much we've been taking for granted in our lives. And think about how much more healthy and balanced our minds are going to be once we're through this. If we take the time to really reflect and think about it. If. We're going to be forever changed. Especially, like I said, if we take this opportunity, guys, to realize how lucky, how maybe spoiled we've been for who or what we've all taken for granted. The cool thing is this. This is the cool thing. Usually it's only a handful of people, a handful of dreamers, doers, reflectors who actually take the time for personal development. Okay? And maybe there's a lot they need to sacrifice in order to do that. Now the whole world is being forced to choose or not choose that opportunity. The world, everyone has a choice to either use this time to better themselves, to think about and reflect on how much and how many we took for granted, or the world has the choice to complain about it and worry and mourn the loss of what kind of freedom they did have. So here's some ways you can help yourself take the time to be more reflective, to take less for granted. Take a walk around outside. Being outside, being in nature is huge right now. Say hi to other people from a safe distance, please. Follow the recommendations of the WHO and the CDC. That's something you can control is your own social distancing. Give to others. Okay. What can you do? Helping others. Huge amount of control. You can actually be a beacon for someone else. Get support. All right. If we can keep our brains healthy, one of the things that we do really need is communication and time with others. I would suggest less so over the phone and more using Zoom, FaceTime, things like this. Why? Well, because body language really facilitates a lot of connection that we don't get just over the phone. A lot of social connection. Prioritize your me time. If you've never done that, I want you to learn how to do that. Okay. Feeling disappointed is very normal. I don't want you to judge it. I want you to just remember that we're all feeling disappointed, some of us to more extremes than others. Concentrate on what you can control and accept what you can't. So one of the things that makes me sad is these high school seniors maybe not being able to have a graduation ceremony. One of the things you can do, like one of my girlfriends did, who has a son graduating this year from high school, she wrote a letter asking them to just think about it. You know, could we maybe do the graduation ceremony in July, for example? You know, then you've done your part. That's the way that that's the type of control you can have over an outcome that you're worried about. All right. It's just by speaking your mind. Okay. But the rest is not up to you. And I want you to remember that we all have some disappointments right now that we're going through, right? Things that are canceled, things we wish we could do. Change what you can, but let the rest be. And remember, you're not alone there. There's so many others like this. So try to decatastrophize all those things that are making you feel nervous or disappointed. So yeah, here's the other thing. You can feel disappointed and anxious and still enjoy taking a walk with your dog, doing something with your kids, and being present. But overall, those are just some ideas of ways you can do this. Meditate, of course. And the other things I've mentioned about being healthy, like exercise and social connection, I know I've mentioned with this. But at the end of the day, guys, think how different the world is going to be if we all take this time to reflect on what we took for granted before and tweak and think about how we might look at those things after. Okay. I think that if everyone takes time to really think about that, once we get out of this, the world could be a completely different place. I think that's about all I have. I know I'm missing something. That's why I'm like, Anyway, think about that, guys. Okay. I think it's going to help you guys a lot. I know it's helped me. I've got another topic I want to get on here real soon. So I might either do that later tonight or tomorrow, but specifically more to dealing with people who are toxic in times like this. Okay. So I will get that up and running as soon as I can. And I will talk to you guys later. You got this. You totally got this. All right. Love y'all. Bye.